So in this segment, we're going to be kind of reacting to this Channel 4 video where they talk about the impact of staff shortages in farming, in haulage, and in the hospitality sector, and kind of the impacts that is having on these sectors. You know, the UK is lacking farmhands, it's lacking lorry drivers, and it's lacking hospitality staff. And you know, the arguments that we can just get people here to do it, well, it costs more. Evidently people will have to be paid more, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it also takes time to train people. That's not happening at the moment. I think the cost to become a lorry driver is in the thousands, and people don't have that sort of money to spend up front to get a lorry license. But yeah, let's start watching the video and then we'll go from there.
Welcome to the Garden of England, where it's picking season. Salads for supermarkets and the restaurants we've been desperate to get back into, all waiting to be plucked and packed. Plenty of salad, but nowhere near enough pluckers or packers. And Nick's...
I mean, it's pretty labour-intensive work, right? It looks like if you had to do this all day, you would end up with a bad back. I mean, look at the posture of these people. This is hard work, ladies and gentlemen.
Farming WhatsApp group is worried.
One of the biggest sweet corn and squash growers in the country. Serious shortage of skilled staff, particularly machine operators, forklift drivers. One of the biggest tomato companies in the country. Problems and short of staff on a daily basis. But we can't...
And the thing is, it's not just low skilled, sort of quote low skilled people who just pick fruit in the field. He's just mentioned forklift drivers and other things that farms need in order to machinery to keep the farm going. Machinery, a tractor takes skill to drive one of those. The UK don't have enough, clearly, and we didn't bother training enough in the last 4 or 5 years since the referendum. It's been 5, I think it's about 5 years. We haven't bothered to train people. This is the result of poor planning and not having a good centralised system. Let the private sector deal with it. Well, they're not dealing with it.
Can't cope. One of the biggest carrot growers in the country. Ditto.
Every year, 120 people come to work here from Eastern Europe. Just a few weeks into the season, Nick's workforce is already down 10%.
In my time, in this business...
And that's 10%. That's people who are probably most likely already here on settled status. You're not getting in seasonal workers. That's a problem, because eventually, maybe this group of people, go back to their native countries or find better jobs or better employment chances elsewhere. Then you're going to struggle even more, because British people won't do these sorts of jobs.
We're closer to not coping than we've ever been. I'm turning orders away today because we haven't got the staff to cut them.
He's turning away orders in this economy because he doesn't have the staff, and that's a running theme in a lot of this. Staff shortages are causing absolute chaos for multiple different industries because they don't have the staff. They don't even have the staff in certain places to do lunchtime, lunchtime openings in like restaurants and cafes. That's how bad things are right now.
Have you had to do that before?
I've never had to do that.
What is this shortage of staff down to?
It's down to Brexit. It's definitely down to Brexit.
Oh, it's down to Brexit, not down to the Rona or anything like that. It's down to Brexit, yeah. That's all I'm saying, dog. This guy said it straight up. He said it straight up. No one can deny it. And you can say, "Oh, what does he know? He's just a farm guy." Like, bruv, this is his industry. He knows more than John Redwood or Rees Mogg or anyone else would know about farming.
But it's also down to simple supply and demand. There's more demand now for labour than there is supply from all the politics that's gone on the last 3 or 4 years, and people know that.
Since Brexit...
That means wages are going to have to go up, which means costs go up. That's what's going to have to happen here.
The right for EU workers to just turn up here is gone. There's now the Seasonal Agricultural Workers Scheme, a visa quota system that allows 30,000 labourers onto UK farms. Industry says they need double.
So you're talking about you need 60,000, right, and you only get 30,000. That means...
It's not just here.
What that means is that you're going to have a lot of competition to get these people onto your farm, which means you're going to have to pay better because now they have options. Now they have leverage against you. And I'm not blaming them for having that leverage, because that's great. You can get a higher salary or a higher wage than you would have had, pre-Brexit. But this is the reality of the situation of Brexit now, that food prices will go up because of this.
Or in Kent, that there are shortages.
Kent voted for Brexit, by the way, so well done, guys. How's the lorry park looking?
Like Nick say they need 30,000 extra workers this season alone. The hospitality industry says it's 180,000 short. Meat processors say they're 5,000 short. Now, with unemployment having risen because of COVID, vacancies are clearly a good thing. But when there are so many vacancies in so many sectors in an interconnected economy, there's a problem.
Business didn't
There's a problem, huh? Let's see.
happen last week because we couldn't find a truck driver to drive a lorry from here to Evesham. That's quite sad and scary, actually.
At the largest haulier in Kent, the only truck moving at 9 a.m. was a learner lorry. Such is the desperation for drivers. This firm is stumping up half the money for trucker training, which can run into the thousands.
All right.
So you would think the UK, the government would be, paying for this stuff. You think the UK would actually help pay for the costs of, to become a lorry driver, but we're not. And this is another problem that we have in this country, where you rely on the private sector too much, and the private sector won't solve all of these problems until we have a staff shortage, until something bad happens. The private sector, in this country is evidently reactive, not proactive. So it's just embarrassing from the government that they didn't actually see this problem coming.
There's a lot of trailers and a lot of trucks parked up.
Yeah.
Is that a shortage of work or a shortage of drivers?
Definitely not a shortage of work. We've got plenty of work going on. It's definitely a shortage of drivers. Minimum of, I would say, 10% of our fleet parked up on a daily basis.
10%. That sounds like a lot of assets doing nothing.
A lot of assets doing nothing.
It's not queues at the borders, but queues at the driving test centres that's hindering haulage right now. Tests stopped during COVID, and that backlog snowballed with Brexit means the industry is now an extra 15,000 drivers short, they say.
And that's a lot of drivers, and the simple fact is we had a long time to deal with this stuff. You can't blame COVID for all of these things. You just can't. And the simple fact is, his workforce is down 10%. Lorries just sat there. That's crazy if you think about, these big lorry firms could have, a lot of lorries, and 10% workforce sat there. The farm at the start of the video couldn't get a lorry driver in to move the stuff, and this is fresh goods, so they don't last long. So it causes more problems down the chain because we didn't resolve certain problems. We don't have enough lorry drivers, and that causes loads of problems in a country which is reliant on haulage.
There are a number of things we can do. Short term, we should allow foreign drivers in.
No, can't allow no foreign drivers in. We want British drivers.
We need to look at the apprenticeship system to make sure that we can get a new generation, fresh blood into the industry fast. Logistics is living on borrowed time.
Isn't the simple answer for your industry just to pay drivers more? Then more people will want to do it.
Logistics is a very low margin business. People make 1 or 2% profit a year, and that is a pretty scary number if you're suddenly having to pay drivers a lot more.
Farming, haulage and hospitality.
And the point is that, if it is, as he says, a low profit industry, if you pay drivers more, that means, again, costs go up. So we've already seen on 2 levels now, costs going up. When it comes to farms, they're going to have to raise prices to get more staff in, because they want to get, either they're getting British staff or they have to compete with other farms for, EU staff. And now you've seen in haulage a similar problem where, there's a shortage of drivers, which means drivers can charge more anyways. And the fact that, the lorries aren't moving because there's that bad a lack of staff that they can't even hire people to do this, because lorry driving is a skilled job. You need a license to do it. So now we've seen 2 major things that are going to cause food prices to go up, haulage and farms. Now here's a third one.
Want visa restrictions relaxed for their industries, their workers labelled critical workers. The Home Office says they want employers to focus on training and investing in our domestic workforce rather than relying on labour from abroad.
I mean, are they going to stump up the cash to help train people in this country properly? Or are you just going to keep relying on the private sector once again and letting that cause problems in the country?
That is a tall order in this sector. In Brian's 4 pubs alone, he says he's short 30 staff members, and homegrown talent comes at a cost.
I'd love to pay more, but I've got to charge you more. Are you happy to pay more when I charge you for your pint of beer? You're not. We're up against supermarkets knocking out prices of beer at no price at all. We've all had that in lockdown. And now, we've got to charge what we've got to charge to survive.
For some,
and that's the key point that people don't realise, isn't it? That, for this guy to hire more British staff, he's going to have to pay more to get them, especially when there's a staff shortage, when people have options to go work at other pubs or restaurants or whatever. So that's already going to cause a problem to hire staff. So he's going to have to charge you more because he still wants to turn a profit. This is a capitalist country we live in. Let's not forget that. And so are you willing to pay more if he has to charge you more because you decided to vote Brexit? Vote Brexit, pint of beer will go up. because you've already seen that, the price of, you're going to see three major impacts on the hospitality sector on your price of, your price of chips or a burger or a beer, whatever you're having, right? The price of farming has gone up, will go up. So that means, the vegetables, the wheat, or whatever they use to make the beer, that price is going to go up. Haulage is having a massive shortage. They're going to have to pay drivers more. That means the beer that gets moved from the farm, from the brewery to the pub, is going to cost more. And now they're going to have to pay pub staff more because of the staff shortage. That means your beer will go up again. That's three, squeeze points, pressure points on your average pint of beer or whatever food you're having.
Some industries, COVID sent thousands of their workers home. Brexit's been a bar to many coming back. The one thing a post-pandemic rebounding economy needs, though, is labour, wherever it's from.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're not getting that because people don't feel welcome here. People don't feel welcome here. It was all that xenophobia and all that hatred of the foreigner in 2016 has really come back to bite us. People didn't feel welcome. Why would you stay in a place where people constantly malign you for the problems within the country? You wouldn't. You don't stay where you're not welcome. And clearly, a lot of people from the EU, unfortunately, don't feel welcome in the UK, or have got better opportunities wherever they are now. So shouts out to them. Congratulations. But the UK is struggling once again. So look, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Shouts out Channel 4 for doing some great work, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.